Good evening and welcome to today's program, Poems Are the Dreams of the Earth. This is part of our ongoing programs celebrating IIC's Diamond Jubilee. On behalf of the India International Center, it is my privilege and pleasure to extend a warm welcome to one of the most important contemporary poets of Latin America, Raúl Zurita, who is the recipient of numerous awards, including the National Literary Prize of Chile. I also welcome Dr. Anna Deeny Morales, who has translated several collections of Raúl Zurita's poetry. Dr. Morales will read in English. We would not have had the privilege of hosting this evening's program, but for the support of Dr. Sharmistha Mohanty, founder of Almost Island. I welcome, before I request Dr. Mohanty to take over the proceedings, I'd like to welcome both the poet and the translator. Thank you.
¿Quieres decir algo? Muy buenas noches, un gusto estar aquí con ustedes, una alegría y agradezco mucho esta invitación.
I'll first introduce Anna Deeny Morales, who's the translator for Raúl Zurita. Anna Deeny Morales is an acclaimed literary critic and translator. Her translations of Raúl Zurita include Purgatory, Dreams for Kurosawa, and the most recent Sky Below. An anthology of his work. She has also translated Mercedes Rofe, Gabriela Mistral, Alejandra Pijarnik, and Nicanor Parra, among others. She is a master at drawing out the resonance of each word and phrase in the Spanish. Meter and rhyme, as she herself says, are the most crucial things to be brought over and rendered in another language. With her singular ear for music, her translations seem to almost always achieve this. Anna is also a pianist. She has written operas, and this musical sense enters deeply into her work with words. The American poet Forrest Gander has said, through her insistent attention to diction and syntax, Anna Deeny Morales creates an English poetry as abrupt, heuristic, sweeping, and finally redemptive as the Spanish. To wit, she delivers Zurita's genius. I have now the honor of introducing you to one of the most extraordinary and profound poets of our times. Raúl Zurita was arrested as a young man when General Pinochet came to power in Chile, and he was kept in the hold of a ship with many other prisoners. The dictatorship held for 17 years, committing endless atrocities. With his very first book, Purgatory, Zurita found a new literary form equal to the demands of his tragic and terrifying times. Purgatory uses not only text, but an ID photo, an ECG diagrams, and a psychiatric report. The seeking of forms continues to unfurl over the course of his work. So we have the disturbing, breaking, and disruptive nature of his poems. Their vast range includes the lyrical and the intimate, the epic and the experimental, often within the same poem. This continues over his many books: Anti-Paradise, Song for His Disappeared Love, The New Life, Militant Poems, INRI, and his latest book, Zurita. One of the most singular elements in his poetry is that it speaks always through multiple voices, multiple souls, multiple wounds, multiple deaths. And it is as if the poet is saying that one cannot, or that it is no longer possible, to speak only of oneself. Going further, he brings together the human and the landscape. They share the devastating experience of this extreme suffering and injustice. Both in devastation and fulfillment, this landscape raises the stakes. It makes the breakage and the possible consummation of the human a cosmic event. The mountains, the desert, and the sea are witness, receptacle, and revelation. Zurita's poems are not about the tragedies of his homeland. They are written from them. Their scope and breadth are therefore unrestricted, their reach without limit. His greatness is to come from the wreckage of humanity and at the same time to reach for its highest consummation. He has often said, the task is not to write books or to paint paintings. It is to make life a work of art, and that is the task still at hand. Please welcome Raúl Zurita. I would also like to ask all of you to please move up. When we're reading poetry on stage, we like to be close to our audience, so please do move up. Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes. Es una alegría estar con ustedes. Muchas gracias por esta invitación. Muchas gracias, Sharmistha. Gracias, Anna. Estoy feliz de estar acá.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for this invitation. Sharmistha, Mohanty, it's a great joy to be here, and thank you.
Vamos a leer una selección de poemas en que trataré de recorrer una obra. Son 50 años de tiempo, 40 años de tiempo.
We're going to traverse poems that are a work that has gone on for 50 years.
Pero por supuesto que no los voy a leer todos.
But of course I can't read all of it.
Pero comenzaré con un poema que se llama América.
But I'll begin with a poem called America.
Y este poema está basado en palabras de las lenguas de los pueblos originarios, quechua, aymara y mapuzungun del sur de América Latina.
And these poems, this first poem, has languages of our originary peoples of the Americas, including Quechua, Mapuche, and Mapuzungun.
Y el tema es muy simple, por eso no lo vamos a traducir, porque el tema es muy simple. Se trata de alguien que le pregunta a otro si logrará pasar la noche, si cruzará la noche.
It's a very simple theme, it's a very simple story, and that's why we're not going to translate it. It's about one person who asks another person, will I be able to traverse the night?
Y que por otro lado también es la pregunta por la humanidad entera, o sea, ¿pasaremos esta noche?
Will we get through this night together?
América. Pasará y chamancumpa, coñipe, uma flor, si por cielito run run del riña y aguacero. Si embarco a pura lunita, la pasará y cumpa Antonio, la noche. Pasará y peñicumpa, la parca ruma y peñañista, virgencita ñamamay, resolafquén. Sin vaporcito en vela, la pasará y cumpa Antonio, la noche. Pasará y cumpa el risco, chao peñita, nivel y mamayesca, huasca, leufu del zorro río. Si en botón llorito, la pasará y cumpa Antonio, la noche, la noche, la noche. De purgatorio. Mis amigos creen que estoy muy mala porque quemé mi mejilla.
From Purgatory. My friends think I'm a sick woman because I burned my cheek.
El desierto de Atacama. ¿Quién podría la enorme dignidad del desierto de Atacama? Como un pájaro se eleva sobre los cielos, apenas empujado por el viento.
The desert of Atacama. Who could the enormous dignity of the desert of Atacama? Like a bird, it elevates itself over the skies, barely pressed by the wind.
El desierto de Atacama 2. Helo allí, suspendido en el aire, el desierto de Atacama, suspendido sobre el cielo de Chile, diluyéndose entre auras, convirtiendo esta vida y la otra en el mismo desierto de Atacama, áurico, perdiéndose en el aire, hasta que finalmente no haya cielo sino desiertos de Atacama, y todos vemos entonces nuestras propias pampas fosforescentes, carajas, encumbrándose en el horizonte.
The desert of Atacama, too. There it is, there, suspended in the air, the desert of Atacama, suspended over the sky of Chile, dissolving itself amid auras, converting this life and the other into the same desert of Atacama, luminous, losing itself in the air, until finally there's not sky but only desert of Atacama, and then all of us will see our own fucked phosphorescent pampas soaring in the horizon.
Pastoral. Chile entero es un desierto. Sus llanuras se han mudado, sus ríos están más secos que las piedras. No hay un alma que camine por sus calles, y solo los malos parecieran estar en todas partes. Ah, si tan solo tú me tendieras tus brazos, las rocas se derretirían al verte.
From Anti-Paradise, Pastoral. Chile is all desert. Her plains are gone, and her rivers more parched than stones. Not one soul walks through her streets, and only the evil seem to be everywhere. Ah, if you would just hold your arms out to me, were they to see you, the rocks would thaw.
Pastoral 2. Los pastos crecían cuando te encontré acurrucada, gritando frío entre los muros. Entonces te tomé, con mis manos lavé tu cara y ambos temblamos de alegría cuando yo te pedí que te vinieses conmigo. Porque ya la soledad no era. Yo te vi llorar alzando hasta mí tus párpados quemados. Así vimos florecer el desierto. Así escuchamos los pájaros de nuevo cantar sobre las rocas de los páramos que quisimos. Así estuvimos entre los pastos crecidos y nos hicimos uno y nos prometimos para siempre. Pero tú no cumpliste. Tú te olvidaste cuando te encontré y no eras más que una esquirla en el camino. Te olvidaste. Y tus párpados y tus piernas se abrieron para otros. Por otros quemaste tus ojos. Se secaron los pastos y el desierto me fue el alma. Como hierro al rojo sentí las pupilas al mirarte manoseada por tus nuevos amigos. Nada más que para enfurecerme. Pero yo te seguí queriendo, no me olvidé de ti, y por todas partes pregunté si te habían visto, y te encontré de nuevo para que de nuevo me dejaras. Todo Chile se volvió sangre al mirarte. Pero yo te seguí queriendo, y volveré a buscarte, y nuevamente te abrazaré sobre la tierra reseca, para pedirte otra vez que seas mi mujer. Los pastos de Chile volverán a revivir, el desierto de Atacama florecerá alegría, las playas cantarán y bailarán, para cuando avergonzada vuelvas conmigo para siempre, y yo te haya perdonado todo lo que me has hecho, hija de mi patria.
Pastoral 2. The pastures grew when I found you huddled, writhing from the cold between the walls. Then I took you in my hands, I cleaned your face, and both we trembled of joy when I asked you to come with me. Because there was no more loneliness, I saw you weep, lifting your burned eyelids to me. That's how we saw the desert flower. That's how we listened again to the birds sing above the rocks of those moors we loved. That's how we were among the overgrown pastures, and we became one and promised ourselves forever. But you broke your promise. You forgot about when I found you, and you were just a splinter in the road. You forgot, and your eyes and legs they opened for others. You burned your eyes for others. The pastures dried up, and the desert was my soul, my pupils red-hot irons, as I watched you felt up by your new friends just to enrage me. But I still love you. I didn't forget you, and I asked all over the place if they'd seen you, and I found you again just so you could leave me. All of Chile turned to blood, seeing you sell yourself. But I still loved you, and I will come back to look for you, and once again I'll hold you over the parched earth and ask you to be my wife. The pastures of Chile will live once more. The desert of Atacama will flower with joy, and the beaches will sing and dance, so that when ashamed, you return to me forever, and I will have forgiven all you've done to me, daughter of my country.
Josefina Pesolo rompe a llorar frente a su nieto de la vida nueva. Peña, anima della mia fede, pegni roca del mio amor, nipote mio, sei bello, ma cattivo. Todo el amor, piedra de mi pasión, pivote mío, arco de mis estrellas. Tu abuela te habla, tú ves el montón de piedras a ti que te moriste. Desde el fondo de la tierra te habla, y las palabras muertas se me agolpan en la boca para decirte que nadie en el mundo, que nadie te quiso como yo, que nadie te quiso así como yo, italiana de Orionda, abuela tuya y de la tua sorella, que nunca nadie en el mundo los amó tanto como yo. Ma dove ti sei perduto? Yo te levanto, yo te sostengo, yo te devuelvo la fe. Pero dime dónde estás, dónde. Se vinieron los países, pero tú no estabas ni entre los nuevos ni entre los viejos. Se vinieron miles de naves voladoras, pero no eran el brillo de tus ojos. Se vinieron las estaciones del nuevo mundo, pero tú no estabas. No estaba la noche cubriéndolo todo. No estabas tú, mar de las estrellas. Ven ahora, lindo pequeño, ya no juegues a las escondidas conmigo, te moriste. Acércate ahora, cubre mi lloro y miro.
Josefina Pesolo starts to weep in front of her grandson. Boulder, anima della mia fede, boulder and bedrock of my love, nipote mio, sei bello, sì bello ma cattivo. Tutto l'amore? My love, all of it, solid stone of my passion, pivote mio, dome of stars. Your abuela speaks to you, your veli to you, pile of stones who died. From the bottom of the earth she speaks to you, and the dead words crowd my mouth, per dirte, to say to you that no one in the world, that no one loved you as I. That no one loved you as I, Italian by birth, your abuela and your sorella's abuela, that no one ever in the world loved you both so much as I. Ma dove ti sei perduto? I'll lift you up, I'll hold you, I'll give you back your faith. But tell me, where are you? Where? The countries came, but you were not among the new or old. Thousands of flying ships came, but they were not the shine of your eyes. The stations of the new world came, but you weren't there. All things were not covered over by night. You were not there, sea of every star. Come now, lovely little one. Don't play hide and seek anymore. You died. Come close to me now. Cover my weep and look. Do I look?
El Pacífico es el cielo. Torrentes entonces de la séptima, quinta y novena. Cauces de Bach, Beethoven y Amadeus. Cursos del cielo, cimas y llanuras. Estuarios y cascadas de la cuarta del aire. Órganos, cumbres del Michimahuida. Aysén y océanos. El Pacífico es el cielo. Torrente de los hijos del Espolón, Yelcho, lagos y aledaños. El cielo vivo de Chile, espumeando. El Pacífico es el cielo, cargan entonces los ríos que se aman, abriéndose, como abanicos, creciendo hasta reventarse en las pilas del océano que se rompen arriba del horizonte. Son los antiguos ríos, anotan los hombres mirándolos. No, son las mareas del cielo, replican las crestas del Pacífico álgidas, viniéndose entre las nubes, al frente, recibiendo los miles de ríos que una vez salieron al encuentro de esas playas. Es el océano, repiten entrando en ellas. No, son las playas del horizonte, es la nieve. Somos nosotros subiendo hasta encontrarnos en el torrente final de todas las almas. Gritan los desollados de Chile revividos entre las aguas. Es que soy el cielo, vuelve a repetir el océano Pacífico, vivo, azul, espumeando amor sobre las montañas.
The Pacific is the sky. Torrents, then, of the 7th, 5th, and 9th, riverbeds of Bach, Beethoven, and Amadeus, rapids of the sky, peaks and pastures, estuaries and waterfalls of the 4th, tributaries and sounds of air, organ summits of Michimahuida, Aysén, and oceans. The Pacific is the sky. Torrents of the sons of Espolón, Yelco, lake, and surroundings. The sky of Chile alive, spuming, the Pacific is the sky, bearing themselves then the rivers that love each other, the opening other of themselves like fans, swelling until they smash down in the waves of the ocean that shatter over the horizon. They are the ancient rivers, note the men looking at them. No, they are the tides of the sky, answer the crests of the Pacific squalls coming on among the clouds. In the foreground, receiving the thousands of rivers that once went to the encounter of those beaches. It is the ocean, they repeat, coming in. No, they are the beaches of the horizon. It is the snow. It is us rising to find each other in the final torrent of all souls. The flays of Chile scream revived among the waters. This is because I am the Pacific of the sky, repeats again alive, blue, spuming with love above the mountains.
Las ciudades de agua. 1. A Paulina Wendt. Un hombre que agoniza te ha soñado, un hombre que agoniza te ha seguido, uno que quiso morir contigo cuando tú quisiste morir. Ahí está mi cuerpo estrellado contra los arrecifes cuando ahogándome te vi emerger y eternamente cerca y eternamente lejos eras tú la inalcanzable playa. Todo en ti es doloroso. Te saludo entonces y saludo lo eterno que vive en la derrota, a lo irremediablemente destruido, al infinito que se levanta de los naufragios, porque si aguas fueron nuestras vidas, piedras fueron las desgracias. No soy yo, son mis patrias las que te hablan, el sonido del océano que describo, las estrellas de la recortada noche. Iluminada la noche, tu cara sube cubriendo el amanecer, abres los párpados. Entre ellos millones de hombres dejan el sueño, toman sus autobuses, salen, las ciudades de agua en tus ojos.
From Zurita, The Cities of Water, 1, for Paulina Wendt. A man in agony has dreamed of you. A man in agony has followed you. One that wanted to die with you when you wanted to die. My body is over there, thrashed against the reefs. When drowning, I saw you emerge, and forever close and forever far, you were the unreachable shore. Everything in you is painful. Then I greet you, and I greet the eternal that lives in defeat, the irredeemably destroyed, the endless that lifts itself up from the wrecks. Because if water were our lives, stones were the misfortunes. It's not me, my homelands speak to you, the ocean sound I describe, the stars from the night cut short, illuminance of night, your face rises covering the dawn. You open your eyelids, among them millions of men leave sleep behind, get on their buses and go out. The cities of water in your eyes.
Las ciudades de agua 2, a Paulina Wendt. Todo en ti está vivo y está muerto. El fulgor del pasto en la aurora y el hilo de voz creciendo en el diluvio. El feroz amanecer y la mansedumbre. El grito y la piedra. Todo mi sueño se levanta desde las piedras y te mira. Toda mi sed te mira. El hambre, el ansia infinita de mi corazón. Te miro también en el viento, en las nieves de la cordillera sudamericana. Ahí está la calle en que esperé que amanecieras. La noche póstuma, el país muerto en el que no morimos. Ahí están todas las heridas y golpes, cuando emergiendo el destrozado sueño, volví hacia ti los ojos y vi las desmesuradas estrellas flotando en el cielo. Tu cara ahora flota en el cielo. Detrás corre un río. Hay un hombre muy viejo. Hay un hombre muy viejo en el medio del río y tú lo miras. Las ciudades de agua en tus ojos.
The Cities of Water, 2, Paulina Wendt. All in you is alive and dead. The grasses gleam at sunrise, and the voice that threads, that grows in the deluge. The savage dawn and docility, the scream and stone. All my dream gets up from the stones and looks at you. All my thirst looks at you, the hunger, my heart's endless dread. I look at you also in the wind, in the snows of the South American Cordillera. Over there is the sky where I waited for you to wake up, the posthumous night, the dead country where we did not die. Over there, all wounds and beatings as I emerged from the demolished dream, I turned my back toward you and saw the vast stars floating in the sky. Your face now floats in the sky, behind it a river. There's such an old man. There's such an old man in the midst of that river, and you look at him, the cities of water in your eyes.
La ciudad de agua 3, a Paulina Bent. Sabes que estás muerta para el amor y no amas. Todos los puentes están rotos y tus padres, ya cansados, se devuelven sobre sus pasos. Ya no vendrán a visitarte. Han pasado miles de años de todo eso y ahora acabas de despertar. Somnolienta te tocas la cara y palpa bajo la piel el trabajo de la calavera que te sobrevivirá, como en el fondo del lago. La piedra sobrevive al cuello a la que fue atada. Sabes que estás muerta para el amor y no amas. Te preparas entonces un café y enciendes con distracción la radio. Te sientas, te levantas de nuevo, abres la ducha con un cotidiano rezo matutino y sientes el antiguo golpe. Como hace miles de años todos los puentes han sido arrancados y no hay salida. Sabes que estás muerta para el amor. Sabes que estás muerta para el amor, pero él no te ama, él te ama. Levantarás la cara, la ciudad de agua en tus ojos.
The cities of water 3, Paulina Bent. You know you're dead for love and don't love. All the bridges are broken and your weary parents go back to where they came from. They won't return anymore to visit. They've spent 1,000 years on all that, and just now you wake. Lethargic, you touch your face and feel below your skin the work of a skeleton that will outlive you, like the rock at the lake bottom that outlives the neck it tethered. You know you're dead for love and don't love. You then make yourself a cup of coffee and distracted turn on the radio. You sit and get up again, turn on the shower like a daily morning prayer and feel the old blow. Like thousands of years ago, all the bridges had been dug out and there's no way to leave. You know you're dead for love. You know you're dead for love, but he loves you. You lift up your face, the cities of water in your eyes.
Voy a leer ahora algo que fue un sueño que era como un sueño con la muerte, porque eran miles y millones de personas al borde de un precipicio. Al frente estaba el mar y la gente se tiraba.
Now he's going to read a poem that was a dream, and it was a dream, a very strong dream, in which he saw people at the edge of a precipice and they would throw themselves down.
Los acantilados eran de la costa norte de Chile.
On the cliffs of the northern coast of Chile.
¿Eras tú, papá? Después de 5 días esperando que despejara la neblina sobre la costa norte, pudo ver los acantilados. Kilómetros y kilómetros de paredes de granito cortándose a pique y 1000 metros más abajo el Océano Pacífico. Había imaginado unas frases escritas sobre esos murallones, 22 exactamente, de amor, de locura y de muerte, recortándose sobre ellos. Me las imaginé en un sueño. La llanura del desierto de Atacama que se interrumpía de golpe, luego el abismo y al fondo el mar. Años después morí. Eran millones y millones de hombres y mujeres arrojándose, muchedumbres inacabables que se detenían por un instante en el borde de los paredones y luego se lanzaban. Algunos lo hacían tomados de la mano, se miraban a los ojos y daban el último paso. Otros sostenían niños en sus brazos y lloraban quedamente mientras el viento del desierto hacía flamear sus ropas. Sentí un brazo posarse en mi hombro. Eras tú, papá, y el vacío se abrió bajo mis pies sin estruendo, igual que una boca muda y dulce. Al frente, el azul del inmenso amanecer se iba fundiendo con el Pacífico y las frases de amor y de locura y muerte se me pegaron en los labios, también sin estruendo, suavemente, como un último silencio, así.
Was it you, Papa? After 5 days of waiting for the fog to clear over the northern coast, I could see the cliffs, kilometers and kilometers of jagging granite walls, and 1,000 meters below the Pacific. I had imagined lines written on those massive walls, exactly 22, of love, of madness, and death incising into them. I imagined them in a dream. The plain of the desert of Atacama suddenly interrupted, then the abyss, and then to the bottom of the sea. I died years later. They were millions and millions of women and men throwing themselves, interminable crowds of people that held back for a moment at the edge of the vast walls and then cast themselves down. Some did it holding hands. They looked into one another's eyes and took the last step. Others held children in their arms and cried steadily while the desert wind flailed their clothes about. I felt an arm rest on my shoulder. Was it you, Papa? And the emptiness opened beneath my feet without a sound, just like a sweet, mute mouth. Before me, the blue of the immense sunrise merged with the Pacific, and the lines of love, of madness, and death stuck to my lips, also without a sound, softly, like an irrevocable silence, like this.
Estas son las frases que vi, que me imaginé frente a los acantilados. Me lo imaginé que eran como la escena que un ser humano va a ver en el curso de su vida.
These are the words I imagined, the lines I imagined on the cliffs.
El último proyecto, 22 frases proyectadas sobre los acantilados, solo podrán verse desde el mar. Verás un mar de piedras, verás margaritas en el mar, verás un dios de hambre, verás el hambre, verás un país de sed. Verás cumbres, verás el mar en las cumbres, verás esfumados ríos, verás amores en fuga, verás montañas en fuga, verás imborrables erratas, verás el alba, verás soldados en el alba, verás auroras como sangre, verás borradas flores, verás flotas alejándose, verás las nieves del fin, verás ciudades de agua, verás cielos en fuga, verás un paraíso vacío, verás que se va, verás no ver y llorarás.
The last project, 22 lines projected onto the cliffs, visible only from the sea. You'll see a sea of stones. You'll see daisies in the sea. You'll see a god of hunger. You'll see hunger. You'll see a country of thirst. You'll see peaks. You'll see the sea in the peaks. You'll see vanishing rivers. You'll see loves fleeing. You'll see mountains fleeing. You'll see indelible misprints. You'll see dawn. You'll see soldiers at dawn. You'll see auroras like blood. You'll see flowers erased. You'll see fleets withdraw. You'll see snows of the end. You'll see cities of water. You'll see skies fleeing. You'll see an empty paradise. You'll see it leave. You'll see not seeing. And you will weep. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Un gusto.